Hey there and welcome back to the Real Estate Renovators, the show designed to help real estate agents navigate through the proverbial shitstorm and come out the other side. My name's Jason Cunningham and let me tell you, there's an air of excitement in the studio today, but before I get to our first guest, let me introduce my fellow co-hosts. You know him as well as I do as the Legal Eagle. He's named the Persian Princess, Rex Aprasian from MA Legal. G'day Rex, how are you, pal?
I'm well, mate. You?
Yeah, good. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
There's something conniving going on in your eyes.
Always.
And I'm not really sure what that's about. Now let me introduce you to your favourite, and let's be honest, she's mine as well. And I know her as Kmart. Everyone else knows her as Chanel Mackesy from Titanium Recruitment. Hey, Chanel.
Hey, Jace. How are you? CPA, I think we're calling you now.
Yes, correct.
What does it stand for?
Car parking attendant.
No, it doesn't. Chanel's personal assistant, remember?
Yes, I do. So I've been promoted to now Chanel's PA, which is exciting. And who can forget our favourite Bris Vegas personality, Pete Aquila. G'day, Pete. How are you, mate?
Hey, Jace. Morning, team.
Hey, Pete.
I'm really good, thanks.
That's the shot. And today's guest is none other than Michael Choi, who controversially, Rex, is disrupting the real estate industry and maybe for the best. So Mike Choi from Area Specialists, welcome, pal.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Mike, before we kick off, I'm quite intrigued as to what you're doing in this space. How did you come about with the idea of setting up Area Specialists and allowing, or share with our audience how the process works?
So basically, I started the business 4 years ago, and it was just to have an office under our own branding because I didn't want to pay franchise fees or anything like that. I felt like the team were good enough to do it themselves. So then from there, people called me up and said, Michael, can I also be, I like what you're doing. Can I get into the brand as well? So I said, yeah, sure, okay. And I got the paperwork done, and so then we started licensing out the brand. Then of recent times, only in the last 12 months, we've really seen the trend of top performing agents going, why am I paying an office? 50% to be doing my trust accounting, administration and things like that. So I thought, okay, so let's go mobile or agent direct or, help agents, run their own business from wherever they want to run it from. And so that's how it started. Now,
correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't know too much about it, but I've only seen it on TV shows and on movies. Is that sort of the way they operate in the States, or am I just making that up?
No, it's very prominent in the United States, very prominent, and it's becoming very trendy right now in Australia.
Mike, for agents that don't know, so you offer them, can you just explain? So if I'm an agent and I approach you and I'm doing well and I'm signed up with someone else or working for someone else, what can you offer me?
So we do lead generation, branding, trust accounting, sales support, administration.
I'm not employed by you, am I? I've got my own business.
Your own business. You get your own insurances. You pay yourself. We just like a high-level personal assistant.
And is that based
like
on
you?
A normal?
This is good.
Hey, is that similar to other franchise models where they pay a percentage of sales, or is it a?
Yeah, so we're a flat fee, and the reason why we're a flat fee is because we believe that we help a lot, but we don't help all the way. It's the agent's success is because of the agent, and that's why in franchise groups you have, an office that writes $10 million under the same color or same brand, and then around the corner there's an office writing $1 million. It's because it's not the brand that's doing that. It's the people. It's the individuals.
Drawing it back a little bit here, Michael, you mentioned when we were talking prior to the show being filming, the reason this all started is because you mentioned self-cannibalism of agents in the office. Can you talk us through how this model came to?
I like that word.
It's a great word, isn't it?
Yeah. So basically, this model started because of vulnerability. So I was looking at it and going, wait a minute. So where's the real estate industry going? What's that going to do to my business right now? Okay, well, if something's going to destroy my business, if something's going to eat my business, it might as well be me. So self-cannibalization. And like Netflix did that as well. So Netflix was, sending out mail to
They're sending out DVDs initially.
You can send out DVDs, and then they were on the way to beat Blockbuster at that time. But rather than get cocky and go, okay, we're going to beat Blockbuster, they thought, okay, SWOT analysis, what's our weakness, what's our threat? And it was streaming. So they're like, well, streaming's going to eat us. Why don't we become streaming? So yeah.
There you go. Very good. Pete, what was that, pal?
Michael, with your business, with property management playing such a really big part in real estate these days, do you have that on your roadmap, or is that part of your offer?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So property management can be done 3 ways. One, they manage it themselves. We have nothing to do with it. They keep all the fees and have all the responsibility. 2, they can go to a local agent that they have a relationship with that does property management only, or even a sales business. Work out whatever deal you want to work out with them. They run your property management. Obviously, there's paperwork that's needed for that. And thirdly, we can manage it. And if we manage it, we keep half the asset, they keep half the asset. So that's how that works.
And the fees associated with you managing and the costs associated with the management, is that shared as well?
No, if they do the letting, because we've got agents in Queensland, New South Wales, we're in Victoria right now, Tasmania. So they do the letting, they keep the letting fee. We do the managing behind the computer. And so we keep the management fee. In certain states where there's higher touch that they need, so in Victoria you only need to look at a property once every 6 months. In Queensland it's like once every 3 months, so they get a little bit more of the fee.
So Mike, excuse my ignorance, and I say this respectfully, you do the bulk of the back office sort of behaviour and let the real estate agent be the genius that they are, operating the space that they're really strong in. Is that right? Yeah,
so the saying I like to use is Richard Branson doesn't fly the plane. So, you know, smart people hire smart people. Where, the high level assistants.
Again, you could look at me with this high level assistant. You know, I'm actually got it.
Every time I see you, I just think high level assistants.
Michael, you mentioned before filming, you're growing one person a week at the moment. So one person a week is opening up an area specialist across Australia, was it? How are you growing? Like, how are you recruiting these staff? And how are you retaining them as well, more importantly?
So retention is relatively easy because I suppose there's that value there. And also, you can't earn more than 100%. And so they're earning 100% commission. So it's their own brand, it's their own logo. So, you know, there's a lot of connection there. There's a lot of retention. In terms of how we're bringing them on, word of mouth, I do a lot of things on Facebook, Instagram, and just talking about, I just give value out in terms of tips and tricks and things like that. And,
Mike, I'd argue that if I was a real estate agent, a lot of people hang around with like-minded people. Okay, so I'm an accountant. I hang around with accountants. We have a fat time talking about accounting sort of stuff, right? Debits and credits, fascinating.
Very exciting.
No, I'm telling you.
Where's my invite?
I'm telling you right now. Some of these accounting conferences, we stay up till like 11 o'clock at night.
I think they call themselves dealers in debits and credits as well. Occasionally, when they get real wild.
Can I just jump in there in terms about accounting? To me, accounting is probably one of the most important parts of a real estate business.
Now he's being my friend.
No, but I'm dead serious.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I know you said you're going to pay me later to say that, but I'm dead serious. Like, if you get the accounting right, tax. Agents work so damn hard. They give 49% or whatever it is, dollar to the ATO when they don't need to.
Yeah, well, the way I look at it, and obviously I look at it through a biased lens, being an accountant, right? But the way I look at it, and Pete and I do work on this together a number of times, it's the balanced scorecard. It's your people, your processes, your customers that drive your financials. And so the financials are actually an outcome, not a driver of your business, but you need to know the scorecard as to where you're going. And as you said, if you're giving away too much in tax, you're a lunatic. But this show's not about me, it's about you. Okay. And it's about the controversial sort of behaviour that's operating in your industry. And I'm not saying it's right nor wrong, but we want to give a different view and see it through a different lens. And one of the things that I'm thinking to myself is, if I'm, as I was mentioning earlier, like-minded people hang around with like-minded people. And how I'd see that your business would be growing is if I was working for a franchise or for somebody else, and I was listing the property, and then sharing the commission 50% with my employer, and then Rex, on the other hand, is retaining 100% of his commission and paying you $1,500 a month or whatever you have to pay to be part of your brand. He's going to go, Jace, why don't you come and do what I'm doing? Because it's a good way to make some brass.
And that's how, that's definitely how we're growing. Word of mouth.
Now, before we get too far into the episode, guys, we do have a new segment. It's called, Jason called it Hammer Time, which I don't know where the F he pulled that from. It's called Under the Hammer, where we shoot quick fire questions at our guests. So I'll take it away with you, Rexy.
What motivates you?
Money.
Chuck Norris or Bruce Lee?
Chuck Norris.
All day long, Chuck Norris. Yes.
Bruce Lee. How could you go past Bruce
Pete?
Lee?
You got two choices, a mountain holiday or a beach holiday.
Beach.
Yeah, nice. Tupac or Biggie?
Neither. Don't listen to music.
Don't listen to music? No. What do you do?
Podcasts.
Podcasts. Okay. Tony Robbins or Gary Vee?
Gary Vee.
I love Tony. Favorite karaoke song?
No music.
Come on, Rex, are you listening to the fucking answers or what?
I'm listening to answers, but karaoke have to sing.
Tomato sauce or barbecue?
Oh, tomato.
Chicken kebab or beef?
Beef.
What did you want to be when you were growing up?
Professional breakdancer.
And I hear you've done that. And you do break dance.
Yeah.
Can we cut to a move of some sort? Because you
Now or later or what?
Let's do one now. How can you hold it for? Push it.
Wow.
Chanel, can you do the worm? Because I heard you got a good worm as
I
well.
would do the worm, but I'm wearing quite a short dress. Okay, quick 5 questions. We're going to continue them on. Biggest regret?
None.
Good.
Biggest accomplishment?
Area specialist licensing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mum or dad?
That's not fair.
That's always fair.
Nah. That's not fair.
Okay. Oh, sorry, Pete.
Pete?
Tea or coffee?
Tea.
If you could have dinner with one person in the world, who would it be?
I was going to say God.
Yeah, it's a
It's
good
not
answer.
a person.
Nice answer.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite alcoholic drink?
Yeah, vodka.
You done?
Do I look done?
I think we've exhausted the quick fire questions. We need to continue the segment. Something I really wanted to ask you, Michael, you are quite a controversial figure in real estate. We were talking about this prior to the episode being filmed, that people don't say anything to you, but you know that there's a lot of whispers about you in the real estate industry. How does that affect you? Does that make you want to work harder and grow your business more, or is it quite deflating at times?
Yeah, so what we were saying is, we're talking about being controversial and, how do I feel that people giving, negative comments and things. And I said that I actually don't really get any negative comments. And I don't think it's because they're not there. Everyone gets negative comments. I just think because people are nice enough to do it behind my back. So it doesn't motivate me and it doesn't stop me from working. It's quite neutral. I've got my lane. I do my thing. People can talk about me or not talk about me. The thing is, if people are watching me talking about me, that's marketing, anyways. But they could be hustling themselves and working on their own thing as opposed to talking about me.
You know what, Mike? I used to work on Talkback Radio, and one of the things I learned. So on the Talkback Radio, you could see the SMSs coming up, and they could see the callers and what they wanted to ask. And I'd sometimes fall in the trap of reading some SMSs, and I was working on sports radio, talking about money, right? And so a guy that I used to work with said to me one thing, it was really good advice. What your opinion of me is none of my business, that's your business. And he said, it could be a 15-year-old kid, it could be a 16-year-old kid, don't worry about it. And I think that's pretty important.
Sorry, Pete, what was that?
So, Michael, with the actual the type of business you bring into the market, it's obviously quite sort of ahead of its time. If you were to fast forward your thinking about where you're going with it, where do you see real estate in, say, 3 to 5 years? And where do you see area specialists being?
I see this, to me, it's going to change dramatically. I see that there's going to still be big major players, the franchise groups still hanging around because they have money. So I still see them there. I think the smaller franchise groups are going to struggle. The independents are going to struggle.
Why do you say that, Mike?
Because what's going to happen is their top agents that are writing $500 to $1 million are going to go out, do their own thing. Then the director who wasn't listing and selling is going to have to go back onto the tools. So effectively what the director will become is like an agent direct model themselves.
Yeah.
So that they could be under ABC franchise or independent, XYZ independent, but effectively they're not going to have any sales consultants underneath them. People won't be having sales consultants underneath them anymore. Yeah. So there's franchisor, franchisee, agent. Basically what's happening is the franchisee, the middleman's getting cut out, and the agent is going to the top and they're subscribing down to a flat fee. Someone's going to give them the service to do, accounting and things like that.
Yeah, okay. So let's say that that's right,
which
I'm not sure it is. And I only say that through this lens. A younger person comes into the industry at 21, 22. I, as a vendor, someone that's looking to sell the house, I don't want to sell my house with a 22-year-old kid. So I think this is my belief, and you're more in this space than I am. I'm just giving you an opinion from somebody from the outside looking in. I still think that kid needs to have some work experience and working underneath somebody before they get to that point where they can pop out at, say, 28, 30 years old to sell someone's house.
So those 22-year-olds that are starting will be, that'll be the nursery or the breeding ground for licensors.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So other businesses will train them up. They'll do real estate for a few years and then go, wait a minute, why am I giving 50%? I'll just start my own.
Yeah, okay.
So you're right, there's always going to be a need for that.
Yeah.
But they won't hold them for long.
One of the things that I like about your model is I think it's akin to, in our industry, in the accounting industry, where a lot of administrative type work is outsourced. I know with the compliance piece around self-managed super funds, for example, that a lot of that gets outsourced to offshore because the customer doesn't necessarily see the value in doing debits and credits. Where the value is in the advice piece, and where the advisor or the accountant can sit down with the client and say, your super fund has $1 million, it's performed, it's increased in value 20%, these investments are doing really well, but the whole adding shit up thing, the customer doesn't see the value, so that gets outsourced overseas. And so respectfully, you're saying you're taking away a lot of the admin function, the trust account function, helping them with their marketing and all that sort of stuff, and let them operate in the space that they're really good at, which is dealing with the vendor, listing the property and getting the best price possible.
Making money.
Yeah, okay, very good. What about the people piece in your organisation? Do you have many employees in your organisation, and how do you lead your team?
So when you say organisation, do you mean I have a current office and then I have area specialists, the mothership, which is the licensor.
Well, share with me both.
Yeah, how's it structured? Can you talk us, because it's so unique. You've obviously got, it's your head office that's based in Keysborough, is that right?
So I've got a head office in Keysborough. It's a traditional real estate business, has salespeople, has property managers, it has support. We've got people in the Philippines as well that also backs that. And then there's area specialists, the umbrella or the mothership that licenses to the Keysborough office and licenses to other offices and other agents around the country.
Michael, I'm really interested to find out where your headspace is around building a business. So what you offer is almost like buying yourself a job.
Sounds like in my what was that, Pete?
How do I build a business that has value to it through something like your business?
So the question that you asked before about property management is where the value is at. So the cash flow is in earning 100% commission. We'll talk about it before. It's not about how much money you earn in real estate. It's about having the tax savings, making sure that you're not paying too much tax, and then putting that money somewhere else and reinvesting. Yeah, but then you can't sell that. You can't sell yourself. So your solo business.
So if I'm an agent and I'm very successful and I want to start building a team around me, what does that look like? Because can they jump from my team and actually go directly to your business?
Yeah, great question again. So when people have a team, they pay a little bit more, $1,000 more, and they lock a territory. And so I won't put other team members in there. So if they're solo, as many people as can be solo in an area, that's no stress. If someone wants to grow bigger than just solo, and they have actual income producing people, not administration. So administration is still one license. So they can have 100 PAs and that doesn't matter. But if someone's listed and selling property, then that's another sales consultant, and so they just pay a little bit more, and then you can have 20 people under a team, whatever you want.
And when you're growing your team, is it per person? So if I was by myself, I want to put 2 people on, do I pay per person that I add on, or is it?
If you have a PA or people that aren't listed in selling, it's a one license fee. But if you have salespeople that are income producing, then you pay $2,500 once again flat, and you can have as many as you want.
Oh, really? So I can have 10 people secure the whole area. And okay, that's great.
Yeah, there's value. So,
And are they working from home at the moment? Is that how they're structured? Or
some people have offices, some people shared workplaces, some people working from home. There's no rules.
What's your view on the traditional model in a suburb where a brand has a stronghold on the area? What's your view on the ability or the take up from the vendor using an agent from another area?
So how would they know about the agent from another area, from a relationship or something?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So to me, there's pros and cons. I do the pitch based on which one I am. If I'm the local agent or if I'm the outer suburb. Local agent, obviously, you've got a large team, local presence, know all the database, know all the recent sales, You're the area specialist. Buyers talk about other sales, so you can talk about the other sales confidently. If I'm an outer suburb, I would say, yeah, well, that agent has heaps of listings in the marketplace, so they're going to spread their buyers out. Rather with me, this is going to be the only listing in the marketplace, so I'm going to get all my buyers focused on this one. They know about these other results, but that's not always a good thing, because that could limit their thinking. I'm uncapped. I can think about anything. Buyers are looking on, the portals, domain, realestate.com. So we're going to get those buyers anyway, much like, because they're going to advertise there, we're going to advertise there, we're going to get those buyers. But what we're going to do that they can't do is we're going to bring buyers from another suburb, from our suburb, and bring them in. So pros, cons.
There's one of the biggest expenses in real estate is the subscriptions, like domain, realestate.com, etc. So by joining area specialists, who covers those subscription fees?
Yeah, we cover that. So we cover realestate.com subscription, domain subscription, price finder, and a CRM. Okay. Obviously, if they want other things, they can bolt those on and they pay for those things. It just depends what they want. But we found that those are the fundamentals.
And the CRM that you use, does the licensee use the same CRM? Is it?
Yep.
Yeah. What is that?
Zenu.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's quite good.
Yep.
Can I draw it right back, Michael? You're 36 years old, am I right in saying
36 in a few weeks. Yep.
36 in a few weeks. Michael did tell us before filming as well, you've been in real estate since you finished school.
Yeah.
I know you've obviously drawn this concept from the US, but you're young and you become this entrepreneur pretty much overnight and really sort of burst onto the real estate scene.
Yeah.
Where does this all come? Where does this motivation come from? Do you have a mentor that's assisted you on this journey, or did you just come up with it? How did it all come about?
So, my dad said to me, my biggest gift is my energy. So he just said that I have the ability to outwork anyone. So I think that's my skill set, energy. It's not so much being smarter than anyone or having a better business mind than anyone. I just think I find, for example, I can find an extra hour in a day, right? So you get an hour in a day. An hour in a day is 365 hours in a year. That's a whole month. 10-hour day. That's a whole month of work. So I've automatically got an extra month of work compared to anyone else. So I just think it's my energy level to be able to keep on going and not get demotivated or anything like that. In terms of inspiration and things, I think you don't draw it from one place. I just think that subconsciously it comes from absolutely anywhere and everywhere. People that I like, people that I don't like, people that I admire, people that I don't admire. I'm sure I get influenced by everyone. I didn't create anything. I'm not someone that created something out of the the thin air. I just think obviously I've been influenced and I just put it together and I just look at the pain. So what's the pain in any marketplace? Okay, just create the solution. So that's what area specialist is. Area specialist is just the solution to pain.
Well, it's any successful new business. It's not creating something new. It's solving a problem.
Yeah,
which
we're
looks
solving
like
a problem.
What you're doing.
Yeah, we're the antidote.
Can I ask another question, Michael? You're very active on social media.
Yeah.
Every time I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, you're there. You're sharing your fishing adventures, your cooking adventures, and also a bit of real estate. Can you talk us through how having a digital presence has grown your business, if it has?
Yeah. So it definitely has. I'm here today because the first time I've met you is today. So Instagram and Facebook to me is the new website. Or it's not even the new website. It is your website. If you're not doing it, you're crazy. You should be doing lead generation systems. You should be having, putting cookies and pixels on people's computers and retargeting them and things like that.
Have you had agents that have now joined your franchise, or sorry, not your franchise, your license due to seeing you on social media?
Yeah, I would say majority are because of that.
A majority?
Yeah.
There you go. Isn't that interesting?
And we have salespeople, so we run a lot of lead generation.
Sorry,
the reason I'm cackling is because your middle name is Instagram, right?
It's Rex's. It's not me. Rex is worse than me.
I'm learning this Instagram.
I've got to follow you.
No, but it's true. I mean, she is Instagram. She said put up 7 posts while we've been here.
One's happening right now. Her VA's doing it.
And he's sitting right here.
I thought you're like a PA to her PA.
Yeah. Brings me straight back down.
Up and down.
Michael, can I talk about your culture? We talk about culture in here often, and you're growing at such a fast rate, and you're getting generational leads from people that met you on social media per se and stuff. So how do you control that culture? How do you captivate a culture? Does area specialist have a culture that it wants to promote?
Everything has a culture, obviously. The people that you bring in are the ones that create this, in my opinion, right? There's heaps of, you can talk all day, you can have seminars all day about culture. But I believe the people that you bring in are the ones that create the culture. So rather than the business being the train and the team members or licensees coming onto the train, I think it's the other way around. The area specialist agent and the team members are the train, and the business is going for a ride with the train.
But would you argue, yeah, it does, Mike, but would you argue that likeness attracts likeness? So the people that you're bringing in already inherently have similar values to you?
Well, it's a culture of almost entrepreneurs by the sounds of it. You're not attracting just any agent. You're attracting people that want to have their own office or brand within a brand.
So basically, because it's a flat fee, we automatically detract low performers.
Yeah.
Because if you're not performing, you have to pay that flat fee regardless.
Yeah.
But we attract high performers because it's a cap rate, so there's more in it left over.
It's a cutthroat industry though. So how do you police two licensees going for the same property or stealing listings from each other? There's it's free.
Yeah, it's free. The vendor lists with whoever they want to list with. The best person gets the job. The person that has I can be chasing someone for 10 years, but they're your cousin. You're going to list the property. Yeah. And you don't even have to chase it.
That's right.
So we can't police and say this person's been chasing it for 10 years. They've got database notes. They've done a letterbox drop. They've done a door knock. They've sold next door. But it's your cousin. You're going to list that.
Yeah. Tell me what place or what role do systems and processes have amongst your licensees?
I think that depends on the individual. We actually have some licensees that maybe aren't that really good at systems, but they're just really good at face-to-face and building out relationships. And so their business just thrives. And then we've got people that aren't good at that. They don't even like people. They're introverts, but they just follow all the systems. And so the computer does it all for them and they're just the face to it. Yeah. So I suppose it depends on the individual.
Sorry, Pete?
How do you ensure that there's, I suppose, a minimum level of service of all the agents that are under your brand to protect your brand?
Yeah, so basically, so there's a couple of other mobile models out there, and what they do is they employ people with a heartbeat, so to speak. So like the criteria to get in isn't high. Whereas what I've done is I've focused on, because we're area specialists, so it's quite hypocritical to put anyone in the business that isn't an area specialist, and that's why we have the flat fee. The flat fee culls it. The flat fee sieves out, I suppose, the rubbish. If they can't, if someone's making enough money to be able to afford the flat fees and the services and have the confidence to do their own business, it's because they're making money. They're making money because they're giving good service. So that's how it does it.
It's sort of like an automatic qualifier, isn't it, Rex?
Yeah. Another thing that fascinates me or interests me about what you offer, it's not just the back-end services, but you give them leads as well. You have a lead generation. Yeah. Do you want to explain how this works?
Yeah, so
like you'll give them listings effectively.
And that's what every agent wants, isn't it, in the end, to have a lead generator.
They want their own, they want personal branding, they want more money, and they want leads. That's what the three, and they don't want to do the boring stuff. So they're the pain points. So we have lead generation websites, and we drive traffic towards the lead generation websites. We have robots or chatbots on Facebook, so they just do all the conversations with the potential clients. So the vendor pays VPA to advertise the property, and then on Facebook that starts targeting a particular audience of income, where they live, if they own property, things like that. You can target those people. They start to have conversations with the robot, and then once the robot takes it to a certain level, you can take over, so you get all the details. The third one, we actually have, all agents can use it. It's 3sex.online.
What was that?
Slowly. Yeah, I had to say that slowly.
Number 3.
I thought you said freesex.com.
Yeah. No, that's another website I'm working.
Wow.
So number 3, secs.online.
Oh, 3 seconds.
Yeah, 3 seconds.
Well, we could have gone with that.
Yeah. So basically what
Rex's eyes just lit up.
Yeah, so basically what happens is you send out a text message or an email to your database and say you want to know what your house is worth in 3 seconds. They just click on the link, put the address in, the computer tells them what it's worth. Then the agent gets an email saying, hey, this is this person asked for an appraisal. This is the computer appraisal. You call them up and say, hey, what's the go? So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
You have a unique, I don't know if it's you've created it or you were talking about it on social media about fast tracking the real estate license and the agent's rep. You were saying that you can get done in, forgive me if I'm wrong, 48 hours.
Yeah.
Talk me through that, because I recall seeing the comments on that, and I
had a billion comments on that.
Yeah, everyone in real estate had something to say about that. What was that all about?
A few things. One, you can't do it anymore because they've changed the legislation, and pro or con, that's up to you to decide. Two, so I'll talk about the controversy in that post. So I said that you can do the license in 48 hours. That's it. Let me know if you're interested. Of course, it was hook, line, sinker, and people bit. So, and it's quite interesting because the people that were biting didn't want me to promote this. Yet the more comments they put, Facebook goes, "Oh, wow, this is popular. Let's promote it more." And I'm just laughing on my computer, going, "Thank you." But anyways, so I did the full license course when I was 19. I heard about words like caveat, covenant, and Section 32 vendor statement, and I had the certificate, and I still didn't even know what those words were because I wasn't even in the industry. So, to me, it's important to get the education, but I think theory and prac in real estate are completely different. There's how to service a client is not taught. How to follow up a client is not taught. CRM's
Would
not
you
taught.
argue though, Michael, and subject to opinion, that the increase, the agent's rep's now going to take 6 months and the full license is 2 years? Am I correct in saying that?
Different states, but yeah.
Different states in Victoria. Would you argue that the real estate industry right now is saturated with people that aren't really qualified to be running offices or basically being in the industry? I see that on the forefront all day, every day. Would you argue that this model is now going to sift out the good business owners from the bad, the qualified people for real estate, and the other people that are just going in there and doing a 2-day course and getting the agent's rep and then trying to get into the industry, causing that massive turnover and basically tarnishing the name of the real estate industry as a profession? Would you argue that this is going to clean out the industry somewhat, and for the future of real estate will be?
I think it by a small percentage, it might clean out the industry, but in the end of the day, the course doesn't teach you how to run a business. It doesn't teach you about money. It doesn't teach you about law. It doesn't
I think
teach you
the
about
license
accounting.
will, though. The new license, I believe, is it more focused on business?
The new license is a lot more involved.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, for whatever it's worth, I think it's really good to have extra hurdles to get into the industry. Because at the moment, it was so easy. Anyone could become an agent's rep online. So to have these extra entrants.
I tend to agree with you, Rex, but I think what's also important, and Mike sort of touched on it, when he did, whether it took him 2 days, 2 years, whatever. I know when I first became an accountant, I didn't know anything. I'm sure that when you first did your articles, you didn't know anything, right? But what it talks to is life experience. Yeah. And, you know, as a business owner, you get so much experience being the head cook and bottle wash, you know, and signing a personal guarantee on your lease, and being responsible for your team members and people's superannuation and your BAS statement and all that sort of stuff.
There's two parts to it. There's a human piece, which is learning how to run a business, talk to people, and all that stuff. And then there's an educational piece that if you don't have the basics understanding, so it's a 1-2 day course to get into something.
Mate, I agree wholeheartedly.
You need both.
You need that both. So I agree with this extra hurdles to get into it, because even if you don't remember it, at least you know some of it.
Well, it's many people. I know real estate offices that they were owning mobile phone shops, and they were like, "Oh, I know all these people. I'm going to go open up a real estate office. Open up a real estate office."
It's terrible.
Teams aren't getting paid correctly at all. Below Australian award. They're working 7 days a week. There's young girls out prospecting in rough areas without support because they don't know how to run an office. So now to get this agent's, to get your full license, it's going to take 2 years. And before you can just go and open up an office and, you know, ruin a lot of young people's careers in real estate, and what could be a brilliant
real estate as well.
Correct.
Agents, you know, with
the industry
money,
is so
trust accounts.
The thing is, it doesn't matter how much study you do, though. So I am for the study, but it doesn't matter how much study you do. Your ethics are your ethics. Your values are your values. So if you're a good person, you're a good person, whether you don't study or do study. And so, I think we've got a question.
Hey, mate, Mike, I wanted to know, if I'm a real estate agent watching this session today, at what point is your offering something that's relevant? You know, would you say that I have to be at a certain amount of transactions a month or certain revenue per month? When does your model become relevant?
I think when you're listing or selling, say at least 2 houses a month. Take that back. It matters when you are the business. So when prospective vendors are calling you and not the office, when prospective vendors are listing with you and not because of your office. When that's the case and you can show that over a few months, then this is a no-brainer.
Mike, what's your opinion on bringing people outside the industry into real estate? So people that haven't worked in the industry before, obviously done their qualifications 2 years, Rex, and all that sort of stuff. But what's your opinion on introducing new blood and fresh face into the industry?
So some of Australia's best real estate agents came from other industries, but I'm not for it or against it. I think it comes down to the individual. So it's not so much about the industry that they came from. I think it comes down to their values.
The reason I asked the question is I have a client who runs an office down in Mount Eliza, which is on the Mornington Peninsula. It is magnificent. And she is a rock star real estate agent, and I have a lot of time for her. And due to COVID and everyone getting the Khyber Pass with their job, she actually hired a pilot, right, who now is going through his qualifications and to become a licensed real estate agent. And she was just saying, you know, he's a smart guy, he's a good person, he has his core values are very much cemented. And she said it's working out amazingly, and he hasn't been tarnished by the industry and the language and the conversations that have been happening in the industry for the last 20 years. He's jumped out of a plane, right? And now he's selling property, which I think is outstanding. But I think your point is right. I mean, no two pilots are the same, Rex.
Yeah, So it depends on the person, not the job. It's
the right attitude in the end. You mentioned as well when we were chatting prior, Michael, that you've had massive turnover in your property. I shouldn't say massive turnover.
No, it was
most offices, most property management divisions. You've had turnover in your portfolio management division, and now it's running smoothly. Can you talk us through why there was turnover in your property management division and how you've sorted that all out now and how it's running smoothly?
So basically, property management is very hard. It's very difficult, and that's why we offer to outsource it and do it for the agents that are running their own business. It's difficult, and the main thing is not so much managing the properties. The main thing is managing the people managing the properties. People.
Problem of all business, unfortunately.
Every business, the problem, the asset, and the problem is the people. And so it was just finding the right people. Where it is there is just the properties, the fees that we're charging to the landlords aren't enough to pay property managers what I believe they deserve. Property managers all deserve double the amount of pay, but no office in Australia can afford to do that. It's a crappy job, it's a hard job, and I wish every business could afford to pay them more, but we're so competitive with each other that our rates are our rates, and unfortunately that caps the potential, or the financial income.
Do you think something needs to change in the property management industry? Do you think that digital or tech at some point is just going to take over property management?
It's going to be like Uber. So basically there'll be smart devices all through the house. They'll say, hey, I'm broken. It'll automatically get quotes. Those quotes will automatically go to the owner. The owner will automatically say yes, they'll get fixed. And so a property manager from managing 150 properties might be able to manage 300 properties. And the businesses are going to go, oh, great, more profit because we've got 300 properties per property manager, so there will be more profit. But that profit is only going to last for 6 to 12 months. That profit will only last 6 to 12 months because that product and this technology that comes from Silicon Valley or Cremont in Richmond, what happens is when these products are released to the marketplace and they're already working on them and they're already existing, but when they become at mass, let's just say the biggest franchise group creates this product to help property managers. They're not going to make it just for their group. They're going to make it for the whole industry because that's where the money's at, right? And so anyone that makes any of these products make it for the whole industry to get subscriptions. So everyone's going to have the same competitive advantage. So if everyone has the same competitive advantage,
price comes down again, big boy. Well done. This is why you like accounting. Hey, demand and supply is right.
So you think that the technology will take over?
I actually have to disagree with the property management. Is going to become tech. I think what's going to happen in property management is
I think the other thing
will give property managers the ability to work on relationships. And I think, what we are seeing in property management in the area of consultancy is that we're teaching people how to have a stronger relationship, and all the other stuff actually gets done by things like technology.
correct, I agree.
I think, look, a person that owns a few properties with different property managers, one of the things that one of them quite well, or used to, anyway, Rex. What she does, which is amazing, is you spoke earlier about reducing the pain point. And, you know, the idea of owning an investment property is wonderful at the start, but when you've got 4 or 5 of them and a hot water service breaks and the tenant moves out and you got COVID and you got a body corporate on another one, it's a fucking nightmare, right? And so one of the things that attracted me to Melissa was the fact that she took over everything. She said, Jay, I'll handle everything. I'll attend your body corporate meetings for you. She does absolutely everything for me. So I'm more than comfortable paying her over the odds for the service that she gives me, because she gives me a full service.
Yeah, so I think there will be, and there already is, there'll be a trend of people managing themselves because tech allows them to manage it. But then there's also going to be people like yourself, more entrepreneurial or more business minded, more time wise, that will still delegate because, you know, say, I don't know whose quote this is, but like poor people, they sell their time and rich people, they buy time. Yeah. And so, yeah, I would never manage my own properties.
No, see, time is the only finite resource. That's the only finite resource that exists. I mean, I got excited when you said that you could find an extra hour in the day. I don't know how you do that, but that's the only
resident. I've got a tattoo that says "will not be outworked" on my ankle.
Really, I love it. That's good,
and I live by that.
Now, before we finish up, Mike, we've got this infamous, which is more than famous, segment, which is called Pete's Cheat Sheet. Over to you, Pete.
Thanks, Jace. So today's discussion has been a lot around revenue. So what we thought we'd do is produce a resource purely on how to actually increase your revenue within your business. So that'll be available on realestaterenovators.com.au as a download. And again, everyone that's been writing in and letting us know what they want as a resource, we will get to it over the next couple of episodes.
Thanks, Pete.
Awesome.
Thanks, Pete.
Nice work from you, Pete. Now I can hear the sirens coming now. They're after Rex. Mike Choi. Michael Choi from Area Specialist. Thanks very much. Great to have you, pal.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
And how good was that handstand?